Look up live sports fans because it's episode 45. Single Barrel Sports is back. My name is Scott. With me tonight is
Deeb.
We got a lot to talk about. Things are heating up. Let's hit the intro.
Pat McAfee said today we got our guy.
How many sixth graders would it take to beat LeBron James in a game? Ready for the ultimate sleepers?
Shedeur Sanders went number 144 in the draft.
Episode number 45. The same number, Scott, that Michael Jordan wore on a singular night. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
Or did I just make that up?
I'm not going to call cap because quite literally, I don't know.
I'm just joking around. But welcome back to the Single Barrel Sports Podcast. We are back. Have more of a, I would say, typical style episode for you tonight. Last week we did a little bit more of a chill, impromptu discussion, talked about Bourbon Trail. But I'm super excited, Scott. We're going to talk a lot about sports. College football's heating up. NFL's heating up, and we got some really fun stuff, including a surprise game that we've never debuted. That'll happen later in the episode. But Scott, first of all, what's going on with you, man?
Man, you are not kidding. Things are heating up, my friend. There's a lot at stake, and it's across the board. If you guys are playing fantasy football, this is likely the last week of your regular season. If you are fans of college football, we got conference championships coming up here. Some implications for the playoffs that'll be really worth watching, and we'll talk about tonight. And of course, NFL's heating up as we're getting closer and closer to those playoffs. We got all kinds of sports. College basketball's kicked off. NBA is in full swing. Luka Doncic, that guy's kicking ass. But in my personal life right now, man, just getting through it. It's the holiday season, so we had some family here. We had my mom, obviously, and then Raven's dad came down for the Thanksgiving weekend, and my brother came down, and just a lot of really good family time, kind of hosting people. And I think you know this pretty well about me. I'm kind of I like to talk. I like to do the extroverted activities, but I need my time to recharge. So I think at heart, I'm an introvert, and having people at our house and hosting always just makes me a little bit more tired. I'm still in the recovery from that, but had a great time and just really, enjoyed the company this weekend. Been working on some music stuff, Deeb. I know we talk about that a little bit, but kind of put some stuff out on Spotify recently and made some new socials. So yeah, just some exciting stuff, but some tiring things going on. I'm looking forward to a little bit of rest and sports this upcoming weekend. How about you, man?
Yeah, I know holidays are always, interesting time. Obviously, everybody does a little bit different of what they either go somewhere or host people. So I know it sounds like you guys had plenty of family in town. And as you mentioned, there's obviously some things that you enjoy about it and some stuff that, like you said, you need a little bit of rest afterwards. So excited to hear about the music stuff. I know I saw that, and we were kind of talking a little bit about it on the trail. So if you guys haven't checked out Scott's pages and such, you can always share those too. Feel free to share those if you want, Scott, with people to check those out and give you some support and love there. But yeah, generally speaking, we went back home for Thanksgiving. So we usually go back to about 2.5 hours from where we live. Luckily, both of our parents live 5 minutes apart from each other, so it makes it pretty simple. Similarly, there's a lot of family time that happens in a little amount of time. We actually had to kind of cut our Thanksgiving a little bit short, so we left back home Friday evening rather than Sunday, which is what we were planning on, because we ended up getting 12 inches of snow Saturday to Sunday. So I was not trying to deal with that and the drive home with all that snow. So we just played it safe and came back and got to watch some of our, football teams play on Saturday at home, which I haven't done in a long time for some of these games, with the rivalries.
Yeah, that was us last year, man. The first time we got to watch a Michigan-Ohio State game in our own home since we have been together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. It's nice. And I know it sucks having to leave and changing plans, but it sounds like it was definitely a smart decision with all that snow. And dude, I don't miss that shit. I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You can feel like you get just desensitized to it. Like the first few times you're just like, this sucks. But then you're like, whatever. It's just here to stay for a little bit.
Yeah. I think if I had a better skincare routine, it might not have affected me as much. But I feel like my nose dries out and then I get bloody mucus. I don't know. This is too much information, but Like I would have like just horrible like dry sinuses and dry eyes and dry skin. And I'm like, dude, I am not built to be in this cold of a climate. Like my body is falling apart. And we did it for 7 years. And then, dude, I have not had any of those issues since we moved back down closer to the south here in North Carolina. It's much, much nicer.
Yeah.
In fact, all weekend I was outside in shorts.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, that is one of the cons, is the dryness and all the dry things that come with cold weather in winter. But,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I don't think people tuned in though to hear about my bloody noses and my mucus. So why don't we why don't we hop on in, let people know a little bit about where to find our stuff.
Yeah, singlebarrelsports.com is basically where everything's at. So you'll find all the social media, full-length episodes, YouTube and Spotify. If you think we're doing a pretty reasonable job, hit the subscribe or follow button on any of those, and we very much appreciate it. I'm still trying to get our subscribers on YouTube up to 200. We'll see if we can make a push here. We need about, I think, close to 30 more or so to get there. So help us out if this is your first time listening, or send it to somebody and have them subscribe if they're interested.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Obviously, we're a small organization here. We don't have a budget to really promote our stuff with ads. So we rely a lot on word of mouth, and hopefully we're doing an okay job. So feel free to share it. Maybe buy somebody a Christmas gift this year, Single Barrel Sports merch on our website, and we will update that so that we got some fresh swag on there for Christmas. We keep promising updates, but I will make that a priority this week to get some new stuff up there.
Ooh, yeah, some Christmas gear. I kind of forgot that could be a thing. So that is a great idea. And yeah, all the proceeds from the merch go right back to the podcast pretty much. So if you invest in that, we invest in better equipment. Or some of our haters out there will say, podcasting equipment is too cheap. So,
Yeah, most of the people from Ohio like to say that.
But Scott, we are back with the sports term of the week. We haven't done one in a while. And so was trying to kind of think through, and I was honestly, I'll tell you where this came from. I was inspired. I was inspired last night when I was playing in our Dynasty College Football 26 league, and
Okay.
I recognized or realized that there was a play in there called like something like double bracket, or I don't know, it was like a defensive play, and it made me think back to coaching this past year of high school football. And so the sports term of the week this week, Scott, is bracket coverage. So tell me your thoughts on that and what you know about it.
Yeah, well, I played in the secondary in high school. Not that that's super relevant because that was nearly half of my lifetime ago at this point. Holy shit, I'm getting old. But I am familiar with this, and it's basically about, if I recall, and you can be more formal with the language here, but on the defensive side of the football, it's kind of like locking down a wide receiver by putting a bracket around them, having somebody on one side and someone on the other, whether it's covering short and long or left and right, like dependent upon kind of what situation you're in and what route you think they might run. So, for example, like if it's late in the game and they're trying to kill the clock, they're probably going to be trying to throw things near the sidelines, and you can maybe have someone covering like the inside and the outside of a wide receiver to kind of take them away, not allow them to really be an option. And if they do throw that pass, then you've got both angles covered. Correct me anything I've said wrong here, or feel free to add whatever to that, but it's kind of like it's a way to really remove a player from the play is kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, and in essence, the most layman way I can explain it is basically it's a double team, right? So yeah, you explained it correct. So you're trying to position people in various spots, to try to stop a wide receiver who's either like, an elite guy, someone that you just know is their go-to guy, like, maybe it's third and short or third and long or something, and they're maybe even fourth down play, right? And you want to make sure that they're probably going to go to this guy. So some people use it in like the red zone too, or if there's key matchups, like you're playing like a Travis Kelce or, maybe like a Jamar Chase, like sometimes they're going to use this against those type of players. One of the things that, again, I think I like to always try to give or dig a little deeper of to like, where did this concept come from, right? It makes like logical sense of why you do it, but where did this start? Because obviously this wasn't just like a thing back in the day. So this, believe it or not, this actually comes from the military. It is a general term that was commonly used in the military. So basically they would put people in different spots to try to like angle or corner them into a certain position, right? So you might have a guy in a building here, and you might have another guy in this other building, like kind of depending on the scenario. So that's actually where the origin of the term, like the concept, come from. Where it translated to football was coaches started to adopt the terminology more like in the 50s, 60s is really where it became more popular. It really, I think, took off more so in like the 80s and 90s. So originated kind of 50s, 60s in terms of it appearing. And coaches started saying like, hey, we want to bracket this receiver. And then the 80s and 90s were where it became more like a formal defensive term that people started using. So people like Saban, Belichick, those are individuals that popularized the concept.
I can't help but think when you say it like that these guys were probably like players whenever the term originated, and they heard their coaches say it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And then way later in their careers, when they became coaches, they used the same terminology that their coaches used, and all of a sudden it gains this popularity. Because otherwise it's like, well, why was there like a 20 or 30-year gap there?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's got to be what it is, right? Like these are people who heard it and then made it more mainstream once they became coaches themselves.
Yeah, it's probably a mixture of that and the fact that offenses started to become more complex, if that makes sense, right? So like we start to see the rise of like more like spread style offenses, moving a little bit further away from running the ball as often. And
That's fair.
we're getting
Yeah.
more of those like elite wide receivers like Jerry Rice and some of these people that popped up in those decades.
Yeah, sometimes I forget that back in the 90s, these guys were running the ball like 85% of the time. So you didn't have to have that complex of a defense. It was just kind of like push harder and win the battle in the trenches.
Yeah, it was like, you're running against some of these elite running backs that were more popular back in the day. And so you had to prepare your defense for that versus crazy wide receivers.
Makes sense. All right. Hey, I like that. Honestly, this is a term that I've heard. Obviously, I said that earlier. I've heard it used. But for me, it's more of just like a strategy. And I don't typically think of the term itself. So it's kind of a nice refresher. And certainly a very useful defensive strategy.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, hopefully that was somewhat insightful. Like I said, I always like to try to dig. I've been trying to dig deeper as we continue to do this. So it's not as repetitive of just like telling you the definition of what something means.
Yeah, I love the history. Please continue to add those tidbits. That's not something that I really expected, and you started to do that, and I really appreciate that.
Of course. So that is our sports term of the week. We'll get into the weekly recap. And we definitely had a ton of stuff happen, last week, especially with the holiday. Let's talk first, I think, about college football and rivalry matches, right? So right after Thanksgiving is usually the rivalry or the big rivalry games, generally speaking, for many schools out there. So Scott, tell us a little bit about the biggest one of all, the probably most popular for us and maybe for some of the listeners, the game, Michigan versus Ohio State. Give us a recap of what happened.
Yeah. Listen, the game let me down a little bit this week. And you know what? That's okay, because Ohio State, the number one team in the country, one of only two undefeated teams now, is the better team. There's really no debating that, right? As much as I would love to say Michigan is better than Ohio State this year, they're clearly not, and they weren't coming into this game. So, yeah, Ohio State, they came in and they handled their business. They played Michigan in Ann Arbor, and it was a cold day. It started to snow pretty early on in the game. It was a weird time. It was a weird game because Michigan started out looking kind of flashy. They had a big run with Jordan Marshall, got a field goal in the first drive, and then immediately got an interception on Ohio State's first drive, got another field goal. So they took a 6-0 lead, which crazily enough was the biggest deficit that Ohio State has had all year. And that just tells me that they've had a Charmin soft schedule, as everyone has been saying. No, but you can make jokes or not, but basically the fact that the biggest deficit they've ever had is 6-0 is kind of insane. But the big story here is Michigan couldn't score. They had 3 field goals in the game, but they never put it in the end zone. And unfortunately, Marshall, who had just returned from a shoulder injury, re-aggravated that injury and missed most of the game. He tried to come back in, didn't really do much, and it really, we were already out our number 1 running back. Then we were out our number 2 running back, who was having a hell of a game. He had like 70 yards after like 2 possessions. And Ohio State made us pay, man. I mean, they came back and kind of dominated us. And the thing I think that I will give them credit for, and it kind of sucks to watch as a fan, is they played Michigan football against Michigan in that second half. They just ran the ball and they won the war in the trenches. And kudos to them, because they were not winning that war in the first half, but in the second half, they certainly handled their business. So yeah, good win for them. They were expected to win. That's the one thing I will say to everyone who keeps trying to act like I lost some big prize here. I didn't think that Ohio State would lose this year. They were supposed to win. The crazy thing is that they lost last year when they were supposed to win by even more.
Yeah.
But man, I got to say, I don't know if Bryce Underwood's the answer. He was the big hype all year, all offseason, but he has had a couple of bad games. He had 60-something passing yards this game. I don't know if it's play calling. I don't know if it's coaching. I know he's barely 18 years old, so he's got a whole lot of time left. And this is a huge game. But it was check down city, man. He was looking at his first look and he was throwing the ball. He was not reading the defense. He was not going downfield. I don't know. I don't know if that's a him issue or a coaching issue, but it gave reason for a little bit of concern.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking now. You can tell me what your thoughts were.
No. I mean, as you being a Michigan fan, definitely want to hear your thoughts. And I know we have some other Michigan fans that listen in, and got to give a couple of shout outs. I know you guys probably saw them, or if you haven't, check out our Bourbon Trail YouTube video that we put out. So cousin Tony was actually at the game. So he was there. He had a lot of fun. He said it sucked that it was snowing and cold, but he really enjoyed himself. I think it sounded like, from, him being a Michigan fan. And then, I usually would go to watch the game with a bunch of my friends who are Michigan fans. We usually go to this place called the Boat Club. It's not a fancy boat club. It's kind of like a hole in the wall type place, but it's full of both Michigan and more Ohio State fans. It's at a place right on the border of Michigan and Ohio State. So I didn't get to go this year, so it sucks, but I know the boys were there, and they probably were disappointed in the outcome, and I wasn't there to mourn the loss with them. So I want to say my condolences for that. But getting into the
real quick.
Yeah.
Let me just say, that place and all of your friend group that goes there, it's such a large group of guys that goes every year. It looks like the absolute time of the world, man. And every time that I've seen Snapchats and photos, every time I'm like, God, I just wish I was there, man. It looks like it looks so much fun. So shout out to your friend group for having traditions like that, because that is cool. I love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's such a fun time. You can't even, you can't top it, especially when, it's just a great day. There's a chili cook-off, all the good stuff. My thoughts are, number one, I will give Ohio State credit, right? They came in, they handled their business. This is a tough away game, a rivalry match. Of course, anything can happen in this game, as we saw last year. I still, to this day, am confused how they lost last year. I'm not going to lie. They literally had no quarterback. I mean, and it was at Ohio State. That's the even more crazy thing, even a bigger gap to close. I just think Michigan's defense was much better last year. They had a couple of really strong defensive linemen who went to the NFL that we saw they struggled with this year. Having your third string running back, that's rough. Your second string running back gets hurt. He has a big play, gets hurt, tries to come back in. I mean, man, who's going to win with a third string running back? If you don't
Especially when you can't pass the ball, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have at least one or two reasonable or elite wide receivers that Bryce Underwood can throw the ball to, he's going to struggle. Their play call is something is up. I know my friends are calling for Sharon Moore to be fired. I think they don't like the play call. They think it's too conservative. They're like, give Underwood a chance. What the heck are we doing here with this kind of just abysmal, Michigan play calling that I think they've seen over the past couple of years, in their opinion?
I think that I'm going to be honest. I actually thought that we would lose recruiting power when Harbaugh left, and that Sharon Moore wouldn't be able to handle the Michigan program. And I actually will disagree. I think that we lost a lot of really good talent in the last couple of years to the draft and otherwise.
Yeah.
But we have an amazingly talented young team. We have a ton of freshman starters, whether it's true or redshirt, all of these freshmen playing. And I feel like, yes, he did play too conservatively, especially in this game. It actually felt like Ryan Day of previous years, like how conservative he utilized his players. And I feel like that was Ohio State's detriment for the last few years. And I hope that Sharon Moore learns from this now. This is his first time losing to Ohio State as a coach. And I hope that he realizes that you just got to attack and unleash the weapons that you have. But it's a really young team, and he's been able to captivate these young players. And even this upcoming year, we've got a lot of really good recruits coming to our program, including the #1 running back recruit in the whole country. So I'm not out on Sharon Moore, but I want to see more next year.
Yeah. Well, there's always that knee-jerk overreaction when your team doesn't do well that everybody calls for the coach's head too, right? So
yeah,
that's
Yep.
understandable.
I mean, people called for Day's head last year, and then they won the national championship a month later. So I mean, it.
yeah. That's usually how fan bases go. So kind of take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. The one thing I do want to talk about is the controversial touchdown that Ohio State had that, not just in my opinion as a random average guy, but in the opinion of, I think, even like the rules analyst that was calling the game or, on the game for support, both of the broadcasters that I was watching, many people, obviously, if you go online, definitely thought that should have been a touchback based on his foot being out, him bobbling the ball, all sorts of stuff that was very, I think, hopefully clear in video evidence. But what are your thoughts on that? Because that kind of, not to say that would have made them win, but I mean, that was a big momentum play that shifted, I think, some of it in favor of Ohio State.
All right, so this is going to be the non-biased part of me coming out here. By the book, by the rule book, that was not a touchdown. That shouldn't have been a touchdown. Everyone kind of agreed on that, except for whoever made the final decision. It should have been a touchback by the book. But what a stupid way to play the game of football if that isn't a touchdown. If you look at the eye test, and this goes for more than just that play. If a guy drops the ball on the half-yard line while he's running into the end zone and no one's touching him, that's a touchdown, dude. Like, we're in the NFL, we've had some big plays called touchbacks because guys drop the ball, they celebrate too early when no one's within 20 yards of them. That is stupid. On this play, he made a great play. He broke the tackle. He bobbled the ball going across the end zone. A reestablished possession after his foot steps partially out of bounds. But what a lame game it would be if that wasn't called a touchdown. That's my personal opinion. It takes away from the spirit of football, I think, if that's how you take it away. Now, that is different than if he was still trying to catch the ball, but he had already gained possession and then bobbled it and then regained it while technically out of bounds. I think it would be really dumb if plays like that dictated the outcomes of football games. And unfortunately, they do sometimes. That it passes the eye test. When you watch that play, you're like, damn it, they just scored a touchdown. And then they zoom in really close and you're like, oh, the ball popped up 1 inch. Maybe he bobbled it. I don't think that should be an issue.
Yeah.
However, the way that the rules are and the way that the book is written, that was not a touchdown. I'm glad that we didn't lose by 7. That would have really sucked.
Yeah. I mean, I see your point. I completely understand what, your perspective and what you're saying and the case you're making. I don't know. I mean, in a weird way, it's like, I almost think it should have been ruled not a touchdown on the field and then have to be proven the opposite, right? Because there was kind of a moment there where you're like, did he step out of bounds? And I know, like, when you watch the replay in slow motion, right? Like, yes, I get it, like the eye test, all that. But even as I was watching it live, like when it happened, I remember thinking in my head, he may have stepped out of bounds and he definitely fumbled the ball at some point. Like, it wasn't like it was super clear where it was like, oh man, he just like, there was no issue with the play. So I just think it's kind of weird that an official would, and they like waited a little bit. If you noticed, it wasn't like an instant touchdown call at that point. Like, if I'm an official, if I don't know, I'm almost calling conservatively saying no touchdown and let's review it to overturn the call. Like, because if you call the opposite, it's hard to then overturn a touchdown. It's like, it's almost harder to back away a touchdown.
Have evidence, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's my argument to that. And I like where you're going with this, but I don't think that there are, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think that there are guaranteed reviews on touchbacks. I think there are on turnovers that come by like fumble or interception.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about that, anyone out there just comment and tell me like you're wrong and point me in the right direction. But there are guaranteed reviews on touchdowns. They have to confirm every touchdown.
Gotcha.
And so in my opinion, I think that might be why, if they weren't sure, that they might have called it a touchdown to just get another set of eyes on it. But you're right. Then you have to have proof to say otherwise.
Right.
You don't have to have proof to say that it was. You have to have proof to say that it wasn't. And that makes it a lot more complicated.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, still would be a tough call for like I think it regardless if you're a ref, depending on your angle, that is a tough call watching it live, I imagine. That's not like
Yeah.
oh my God, he was out. I think as a from me just being on a sideline this past year for a high school game, I can tell you it's hard to see things just even from a sideline perspective. So it's not as easy as it looks on TV. I just have to say that because I think a lot of people do get frustrated with the refs, including myself. And I know
it's like the Leonardo DiCaprio gif where he like points at the screen. He's like, yo.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of it. I've looked at stuff and been like, come on, how'd you miss that call? But then I think back and I'm like, well, when you're on the field, it's really not as easy to see. It's very, very more difficult than you'd think.
And like I said, man, by all accounts, that was a touchdown. Like whether or not he had possession or not, like it's just such a finicky rule. I don't know. If someone gets a 99-yard receiving touchdown and they drop the ball at the half-yard line while they're already celebrating, like does that make it not a touchdown? Technically by the book, yeah, but like, come on, no one's within 20 yards of this guy, and now all of a sudden the other team gets the ball and there's no points? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a leeway there, and I don't know what the right answer is.
Yeah, I will end on this message. I am just very thankful that play did not dictate the outcome of the game. It was a momentum swing.
Yeah.
But it didn't make Michigan lose, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. But well, we'll have to see. The streak has been broken. It's back, now with Ohio State. Dave Portnoy has to be quiet for X amount of time until, the upset happens again.
Wow. I've seen a lot of people talking shit on the internet about Michigan like guarding the center of their field after the game. I think it's crazy if you think that that's dumb. I think Ohio State should have done that last year. And people are like, oh, well, they lost the game. They should just get off the field. Like, no, they're on their home turf. This is their last football game of the season. Let them do whatever they want. Like, they're not playing football this week, sadly. So let them end their season however they want to. And if they want to guard their end, then that's fine. You shouldn't be planting the flag if it's guarded anyway. And if you're going to leave it unguarded, then let someone come plant the flag. But you, Ohio State, tried to pass a law to make it a felony to plant a flag. So you can't be mad if other people are trying to protect the center of their field.
They did have a flag, though. I don't know if you saw it. The Ohio State coaches were telling them, do not do it. Like they were like,
I was going to say,
no.
To their credit, their coaching staff told them not to. And actually, as much trash as I've talked about Ryan Day, he was actually very proactive in trying to stop fighting from happening, however, whatever it took. And kudos to him. I think that was really, really a good move that he was trying to like proactively prevent any violence after the game. I know as fans, sometimes we're like, oh, but like these are actual kids, man. They're like 18 to 22 years old. We don't actually want them fist fighting outside of the actual football game. So kudos to him.
Some people do,
but we shouldn't, we shouldn't. That's not the purpose of watching football.
Yeah. That's what UFC's for, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of other sports.
Or what was it? Telephone boxing?
Oh yeah, phone booth boxing?
Yeah, phone booth boxing. Oh gosh. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens, but better luck next year to both teams, but mainly Michigan. Real quick, we don't have to spend too much time on some of the other ones. So Ole Miss ended up beating Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. We'll talk a little bit more about Ole Miss and
some fisticuffs. There's some brawling in that game.
Yeah. Yep. That one's
again, that shouldn't be happening.
That one can get heated too. That's a little more of a rivalry than what I thought it was. Georgia holds off Georgia Tech. That one's lately been a brawl. I think last year it went into like 8 or 9 overtimes. So yeah, they were definitely tested. I know Georgia Tech's a pretty good team this year. Alabama barely escaped Auburn in the Iron Bowl. I definitely thought they were going to lose at the end, and they slimmed by. So both Georgia and Alabama that will be playing in the SEC championship barely escaped their rivals there at the end. Oregon dunked on Washington at Washington, showed them who was boss, took care of business.
They did what they were supposed to do.
Yep, as I hoped they would, but that game always gives me, scares because Washington randomly will beat them. So it is a true rivalry game. And then the other big one was Texas upsetting Texas A&M and handing them their first loss of the year and essentially knocking them out of the SEC championship, which I do kind of still think they should be in it, to be fair, because Alabama lost to Florida State. But what were your thoughts on A&M losing?
I'm not going to lie to you. It kind of felt like they might lose. You might think I'm crazy for that. But Texas has had a lot of momentum lately. This game was in Texas, which obviously not too far from A&M, but it's still, I think the home team always is more comfortable at home.
Yep.
But for all the hype that Texas had at the beginning of the year and then the losses that they had that kind of invalidated that hype, they have played good this year. They around the midpoint of the season, they switched into another gear and they actually started beating good football teams. It felt like who has A&M beaten this year other than like Notre Dame? Have they really beaten anybody like that good? Obviously, they were undefeated. You don't want to discredit. They beat Missouri, which was another decent team. They beat LSU after LSU was kind of proven to not be like that good. But it kind of just felt like this was their test. It was their final test before conference championship time to prove that they were him, for lack of better words. And it felt like Texas had a lot of momentum, and the formula was there for the upset. It is tough. It is tough for them, to your point. Their only loss of the season was their very last week of the regular season, and now they're not going to be in the conference championship game. Maybe I'm a traditionalist, maybe I'm a homer, but I love watching Georgia and Alabama play football against each other.
Wow.
Outside of Michigan and Ohio State, Georgia and Alabama is my favorite rivalry to watch. So I was kind of happy with the outcome in that regard. However, it would have been really cool to see a different team kind of sneak in and win that championship this year. So tough break for them, and go Dogs, go Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, so they have been in a lot of close games. A&M has, right? The Notre Dame game was close, 1-point game. Auburn was close, 6 points. Arkansas was close, 3 points. South Carolina, they had like a crazy 30-point comeback or whatever. So, I mean, they have been in a lot of close games with teams that are not horrible. I don't think the teams that they've been in close games with are the worst teams in the whole entire college football. But I mean, Alabama, so I mean, they lost the opener to Florida State, right? Florida State's, I would call them pretty bad. Like they didn't work out, right? I think we kind of saw that. Yes, they beat Georgia, they beat Vanderbilt, they beat Missouri, they beat Tennessee, they lost to Oklahoma. I don't know. I know it's tough in the SEC to figure out who goes to the SEC championship, but there is a weird case where, I mean, is it those 4 wins of Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee in a row that's what put them over the edge? And
there's a lot of recency bias. There's a ton of recency bias that I've noticed in college football.
So I don't know. I would like to just see a change is I guess what I'm getting at. Like, give somebody else a chance who had a pretty good season overall, like pretty much almost unblemished for the most part.
Well, the one thing that A&M has going in their favor is that they won't be playing in the championship game, but they will be playing in the playoffs. That's their chance. You want them to have a chance? That's why we got a 12-team playoff now.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's fair. Yep. So last thing for college football is just a quick update on coaching carousel. So, the number one news article that I kept seeing is, of course, Lane Kiffin going from Ole Miss to LSU. There's been rumors about this for weeks. Is he going to go to Florida? Is he going to go to LSU? Is he going to go anywhere else? I mean, heck, I feel like every single time I pulled up anything social media, there's someone asking him about if he's going every day. And I'm like, man, this guy's got to be sick of this, right? Like, he's just getting asked this question, and it's a distraction to his team. But I mean, he basically is gone, right? So like, they have already hired someone. He's on his way to LSU. He's not even going to finish out this historic
season.
Insane.
They could go win a national championship this year. They're ranked number 6. They're in the playoffs, and he just leaves. Like, I understand you have to, like, these things have to happen in a certain timeline, but what the hell? Like, how are you going to make a great regular season, make the playoffs, be in the top half of the seeding, and then just not coach your team to the finish? Like, what? Insane.
Very awkward.
Imagine being a player on that team. Like, if any of those guys have abandonment issues, imagine how they feel right now. They just lost their head coach after a hell of a year.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have him for the playoffs. Like, what?
Yeah. And I'm wondering if that's going to spark a fire in them, right? That now it's their chip on their shoulder of like, oh, like our coach just wants to leave us here while we've had such a great year. They could be a dangerous team in the college football playoff. I'm not going to lie. Just simply because of that. Like, how many times this year have we seen a head coach get fired and then their team kind of goes off? Like UCLA, it happened a little bit. Penn State, not that they went off, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like they wanted to get their redemption for a couple games, and they kind of just played hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that Ole Miss is going to have that fire next year. They play LSU. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I'm assuming they probably play.
Yeah.
And if not, I mean, they're in the same conference. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've just never seen that happen before, where a coach that was in competition still just leaves the team for a school that's no longer in competition.
Yeah. Very.
And it's just like, good luck. Hope you guys win the Natty, and I'll still get my ring, even though I'm not even here anymore. Like that just seems so crazy to me.
Very awkward, man. People were booing him and his family when they were like getting on the plane.
Well, yeah. I mean, they won the game. I think they played on Thursday, right? They won the game, and then they were like, he was like, I'll have a decision tomorrow. And then it like got extended to the next day.
Yeah.
And then he was going to have a players meeting. And then the meeting got moved like a few hours later. Like there were all these delays in him announcing it to the people.
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff. And listen, good for LSU. Lane Kiffin's a great coach. Just a weird developing story though with how this all happened.
Yeah, but that's also it's super awkward because the players at LSU, and they have to be paying attention to how he left at Ole Miss, right? Because that's also a weird-ish first impression. Like I get it. You could be like, oh, I'm happy. You know, he wants to be here. He wants to be here so much that he would just leave his team early. That could be in the playoff. But that kind of says a little bit about, I don't know, the situation. I don't know all the details, right? There could be some weird legal stuff that's involved here.
Yeah.
But very weird.
I know that there are timelines to where coaches have to announce departure like at a certain time to be eligible for the next year. And I think maybe the rules just need to be revisited if we're going to have playoffs leading into like January, because like I understand high school kids need to have time to commit to schools, but
yeah,
this is just bizarre to leave in the middle of being a playoff competitor. I just can't even fathom that.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, Ole Miss hired their new head coach real quick. So there was no hesitation on, hey, we're going to pick some guy. Was it like their defensive coordinator, I think? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Auburn also got a new head coach. So Alex Golish, he was the USF coach. If people remember, USF kind of had a little bit of a run.
Spark at the beginning of this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Oregon State hired Jamarcus Shepard. Just a key thing there is he was a co-offensive coordinator, wide receiver coach at Alabama. He came over with Kalen DeBoer from Washington. The Gators got a new head coach, and it's not Lane Kiffin. It's John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane, which has had a really, good season.
Had a good year.
This past year. And then lastly, sadly, but I kind of knew this was going to happen, and I'm anticipating similar things with the defensive coordinator, but Will Stein, the offensive coordinator of the Oregon Ducks, is going to be the new head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats. Good for him. One of the, I think, great offensive coordinators in the country, and inevitably going to be a head coach at some point. So we'll miss you, Will, but we'll probably get some other sick person that'll run a really good offense. That's usually how it goes in Oregon.
Hey, and if I recall, their defensive coordinator is leaving too.
Probably. I don't think anything's been officially announced from my understanding. Maybe not. I could be wrong, but he may be going to Cal, his alma mater. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, well, Oregon always finds a way to be competitive, and they always find a way to have an exciting offense, so they're probably going to be all right. But yeah, you hate to see a successful coordinator leave.
Hey, maybe they'll recruit Chip Kelly back as the offensive coordinator since he got fired. You never know. That would be wild. Can you imagine? Just comes back from the grave as an offensive coordinator. So NFL, we'll recap real quick. Thanksgiving games. We had the Lions lose to the Packers. Lions were at home. Disappointing. Em was in the halftime show, made an appearance.
That was sick. Yeah. I will say having Amon-Ra St. Brown get hurt very early in that game and not come back.
Yeah.
That's a big blow. Jameson Williams, yeah. He played good. JMO was looking like a true wide receiver one, but Amon-Ra is that guy. You lose him, and that's a big blow.
Yeah, and I haven't seen anything about if it's long-term or what the injury was, but not good. Not good to have. Cowboys beat the Chiefs. Chiefs are looking rough. We'll talk about it in a second here, but man, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I also think Cowboys are looking good lately. It's like a weird paradigm here where the Chiefs are on the outside looking in. The Cowboys are also on the outside looking in, but man, they've looked good recently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We will talk about the Chiefs' upcoming game, but Chiefs are now in a survival mode. It's like a win or die situation for them.
Yep.
because they're not just one game back from the playoffs. They're a couple of games back, and there's only 5 games left in the season.
Yep.
And they play 3 of their 5 games are against teams that are above them in the rankings.
Yeah.
So they really have to win like pretty much all of those games.
I think was the only team worse than them the Raiders in their division.
Yeah, and then they do have a gift that they get to play the Raiders and they play the Titans. So those are 2 of their 5 remaining games that are damn near guaranteed wins. But then they also have to play, it's like the Texans, the Broncos, and the Chargers, which are all surging teams right now.
Yeah, especially the Texans.
Yeah. I will say the Chargers, Herbert just had a surgery, I think, to fix his non-throwing hand. Might not play this week, so the Chargers are in a little bit of a limbo state. So
yeah,
that's one team they could pass.
Yeah, I know he was having a really good season too, which hopefully he's not out long term, but I know that's not good whenever you have to have surgery on something generally. Bengals upset the Ravens. The Joe Burrow return. Is he back?
I will say the more time went on in that game, the better he looked. And he was throwing some Joe Burrow balls during that game. Looked really good. I don't know if he's quite as mobile. Obviously, he's probably not because he's got this metal piece in his shoe and nursing this grade 3 turf toe still. But man, some of those throws he threw, I'm like, yep, that's a Joe Burrow throw. Like only he can do that. So
yeah,
I expect them to look better and better each week. And for the love of God, Lamar, what is going on? Please score a touchdown. It's been a few weeks since we've seen a Lamar touchdown.
I don't know. Ever since he got injured, man, something's up. I don't know if he's lost his groove
still hurt.
or yeah, something's not right with him.
I think he's still hurt, and he had a few things go wrong. If you watch this game, Isaiah likely fumbled the ball on the half-yard line while scoring a touchdown, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, turned into a touchback. And then like a couple drives later, Zay Flowers, he threw like a 50-yard touchdown too. But Zay had a push off, so it got called back for offensive pass interference. And so he actually had 2 touchdowns that got reversed. And I'm like, dude, come on. I got him on my fantasy team. I'm like, dude, are you freaking kidding me?
Yep. Yeah. That'll happen. Patriots are 11-2, the top team in the AFC. They took down the Giants last night. But Scott, did you see the Giants kicker blooper?
I did. It looked like me on the golf course, and I've seen a lot of memes about that.
What the hell was that? I don't think anyone's ever done that before in their career.
I have never seen a play like that. If you guys are listening and haven't seen it, just go look up Young Ho Koo, or if you look up Giants field goal kicker, you'll see it. It's everywhere right now.
Yeah, that was something else. But
long story short, he missed the football. He kicked before the ball. He dug his foot into the ground instead of kicking the football.
Very, very awkward. I don't know how to term it. Very awkward for an NFL kicker to do something like that. Are your Colts slipping, Scott? They're now tied with the Jags at 8-4 for the division.
The Colts are an anomaly here. I don't know if I would say they're slipping. I think they might have been, I'm trying to think of the right word here, figured out. My brain's not working. I think they might have been identified. And I think everybody started to realize that if you stop the run on that team, that the pass follows. Now, it doesn't help that Danny Dimes has like a broken fibula or tibia or something.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
saw that.
a weird brace in his leg. So there's some certain things that I'm sure are not feeling comfortable, and he might not be able to use his legs quite as much as normal, which can affect your throwing motions too.
Yeah.
But what I saw this weekend with watching this game is that they focused on shutting down Jonathan Taylor, and the rest of the offense crumbled around that. So maybe that's the formula. Maybe they found the formula. The Jags being 8-4 is mind-blowing to me.
Yep, I
They've
agree.
They've won a lot of games, and every time they win a big game, I'm scratching my head like, how did they win this? But they keep doing it.
Well, they did trade for Jacoby Myers, which I have on my fantasy team, and I've been benching him because I wasn't sure how the heck it was going to go, and he's kind of been going off for them. So I'm like,
he scored each of the last 2 weeks with them. So
yeah,
I'm with you. He's on my bench, and he will probably not be on my bench this week.
Yeah. Yep, I learned my lesson. All right, well,
just weird, man. I didn't think that team had the tools to be a deep run team, and here they are sitting at 8-4, and they're on the inside looking out. So
yeah.
If you would have told me at the beginning of this year that the Jags would be above the Chiefs in the playoff picture, I would have told you to put your syringe away and go find a doctor.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's many teams that, according to kind of preseason type stuff, Ravens, Bills, Lions. I mean, there's many teams right now that are on the bubble, right? Like they may or may not make the playoff depending on how these next few games go.
Hey, we got to give a kudo here. It's not on the docket here, but the Bears keep winning. That's all I'll say. Shout out Bears. We'll talk more about that in the future, but holy cow, they keep winning.
I don't know. It is what it
We'll
is.
talk about the Bears next week when we have Zach back on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's a diehard Bears fan, so we'll save that for him.
That's fair, yeah. Talk to a guy who actually knows the team. That way he can at least praise them and not with like me, I'll just shit on Caleb Williams. Even though he's playing well. It is what it is, you know. Gotta have your criticism.
Had a good year.
All right, we're going to go into a couple fan favorites here, things that we've tried to kind of deem as more interactive, different, you know, kind of not as much of talking backwards, but more just kind of talking about some concepts that are going on with their different sports. So this is one that we're resurrecting. So we've revisited this once, and we're going to revisit it again because I think it is very relevant, especially with the combos that we were just having. It's basically revisiting the college football conference championship and playoff predictions by ChatGPT. So for those of you that were not here or don't remember, a while back, episode 32, which was a while ago, it was pre-college football season starting. We prompted ChatGPT to ask it who are going to be the conference champions for this coming year for the top four conferences in college football, and who is going to make the playoff. So we're going to revisit what it said. And then in episode 39, not too long ago, but about halfway through the year, I would call it, we re-prompted it pretty much the same thing, saying, okay, here's, you know, tell us what you think now based on where we're at halfway, to see if it would change and how accurate it would be. So just as a reminder, Scott, SEC champion, it said Georgia. ACC champion Clemson, Big Ten, Penn State, and Big 12, Arizona State or ASU. So
yeah, I had a few of those. If you remember, I agreed on a lot of those.
Yeah, I think you agreed on what, Georgia? I think you said Miami though, right, for ACC?
I did, yeah.
Big Ten, I think
Which
you
is
said Penn
bogus.
State, right?
I did say Penn State. I wish I didn't, but I did.
And then Big 12, I don't remember if you.
I said Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
how many of those panned out?
I mean, I think I had Texas, maybe SEC. SEC, I believe I might have had. I don't think it was Clemson. I think it was. I don't think it was Miami either, because I'm a Miami hater. Who else
was it? SMU? Are they in the ACC?
No, it wasn't. It was.
Or you had?
I don't even remember who I had now. But Big Ten, I definitely did not have Penn State. I think I said either Ohio State or Oregon was my two. And then Big 12, I believe I may have said Arizona State. I don't know that I said Texas. I don't think I definitely didn't predict Texas Tech or BYU. Those were not.
Either way, only one of these teams is even playing in a championship game.
Yeah. So then episode 39, when we reprompted it, it said Big Ten, Ohio State. That one can still play out. SEC switched to Texas A&M, which I liked, and I still think that they, should have a chance to play for it. ACC switched to Miami, which at that time they were pretty hot. They were ranked, I don't know, maybe top.
They were like number
5
3 or something at that time. Yeah.
And then Big 12, it said Texas Tech, which is a possibility still with them playing BYU.
They could go 50% technically.
So better, right? Like in the first iteration, it was only Georgia, and then now it's 2 of those teams can technically still win. So it improved a little bit halfway through. Still not good, right? 50%. I mean,
AI is not taking over the world quite yet.
Do you think it's better than a human, like betting? If you were to just go in as a human or an average human were to go in and place bets based on odds, do you think AI would win with the percentages or a human right now?
Well, I mean, I had 75% of the same picks as they did, so 3 out of 4. I think it's probably about the same.
Yeah.
I don't think that AI has any leg up on us unless maybe you're looking at prop bets.
Mm-hmm.
They might be able to analyze stats at some ridiculous level. But when it comes down to teams winning football games, that just shows that depends on who shows up that day and performs better. And you can't really predict that in a competitive environment. Now, if you're talking like Tulane versus Ohio State, then I mean, I can pretty much predict Ohio State will win. But some of these closer games, you can't really predict that. That's the human element that sports bring out.
Well, And the one thing I have to give a disclaimer on is, we did not give it statistics. We did not, like, the prompt was very basic, right? We didn't say, like, here are all the odds, or look up the odds, on all the different betting websites and factor that into your picks, right? Like, so I'm wondering if maybe you give it a little more data, or give it some, like you said, analytics to go off of. I don't know how that, maybe we can try that next year, or for maybe, a different sport. We can see like what that looks like. But yeah, I mean, overall it's okay. It's not clearly it's not superhuman at this rate.
It's like us. It's an average sports fan.
Yeah, exactly. It could run a podcast pretty much.
Hey, and we will talk soon about who we think are going to win these conference championship football games.
Yeah, stay tuned
but
for that.
Before we do that,
yeah,
then we got something fun planned, and this is something I got to give a shout out to Nick, our buddy from the Bourbon Trail. I think this came from him. I certainly wasn't a part of this until the two of you did it on your drive down. But Deeb, tell us what's next here. What activity are we about to do?
Yeah, so this is it's a website that's called Sporcle. So pretty much it's just, you can go in, they have all sorts of different quizzes that you can do, and ranges from all different types of topics. We like to do the sports version. So we're going to do let me pull it up on the screen here and show people. So ignore the ads. We're sorry. It's very ad heavy if you don't pay for it. But NFL last 4 1,000-yard rushers per team. So basically the format is, you hit play quiz, you get 10 minutes. There's 128 guesses that we have to do. And it gives you the years and the teams. So that's all it gives you. But we have to, Scott, you and I, go through and name as many 1,000 yards, last 4 1,000-yard rushers as we can in 10 minutes. Oh, boy.
Yikes. Okay, this is going to be rough.
And for those of you listening in, try to play along too and see, who would you name? Who did we miss? And, who's kind of the obvious that we're clearly not getting when we do this. So you ready?
No, but let's do this anyway.
All right. Here we go.
All right. Give me Work Done. DUNN.
Okay.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Give me Peterson. Adrian Peterson.
Yep.
Give me Tomlinson.
From
you just type the last name. You're good. Yeah.
Okay. Bills. What about Cook? Yeah, James.
Yeah,
Cook.
definitely. Cook.
Dalvin Cook was on there too.
Willis McGahee, maybe, but I don't know how to spell that. MCGA.
Yep. He's
there. We go. Got him.
Broncos. Who's a Raiders 2022 guy? Is that Marshawn Lynch? No,
maybe not, but Lynch is somewhere. It's
yeah,
gotta be.
Lynch is on the Seahawks.
What about Darren McFadden? Is he on there?
Might be too old. No,
got him.
Raiders and Cowboys. Okay, wow, good one.
Oh, speaking of Cowboys, what was that guy's name?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, Elliott, yeah, 2 T's.
The Titans.
But before that,
Tony Pollard.
What was his name? No, but he clearly was one.
I don't know. 2024 is the only Cowboys guy left.
Who the hell was their running back last year?
Was it Spears?
Why can't I think of it?
Spears?
No, Spears is a Titan. Damn it. Well, let's look elsewhere.
Yep, you're good.
Steelers, Najee Harris. He's done it several times.
Yep, Najee Harris. What about Derrick Henry? Yep.
Yeah, of course.
He's on there.
Let's just think of the best running backs last year. So Saquon Barkley.
Yep, Barkley. If I can spell it. Yep. Who was the Browns dude from a few years ago? Was it Kareem Hunt?
Chubb? There's Hunt. There's Chubb.
Yeah, Chubb's on there. Hunt's on the Chiefs. Dolphins 2023. Was that
H-N?
How do you spell his name?
CHANE.
Nope, he's not on there.
No? Okay.
Nope. Patriots 2022.
I feel like we're looking real bad right now, but that's all right.
Is LeGarrette Blunt on there? Yep. LeGarrette Blunt.
Nice.
For the
That's a big
Bucks and the Patriots. Ooh, Bucky Irving? Yeah.
Give me McCaffrey.
How the hell do you spell it?
Can you just hit enter after the F's?
What is it?
Can you just hit enter after the F's?
No.
It's all right. It's MCCAFFREY.
I don't know how to spell. Yep, he's on there.
Okay, let's look at historic Chiefs players. Give me Priest Holmes.
Ooh. Yep, he's on
Larry
there.
Johnson.
Yep. What about
Chris Johnson showed up too.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
sick.
I was going to say that's who I was thinking of.
What about for Cowboys? Is Emmitt Smith on there? Or is that too recent?
Ooh, that would have been too old.
Yeah, you're right. They've had a lot since then, actually.
Falcons
Who the hell was the running back
2024.
last year?
What's the dude's name? Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson.
Yep. James Robinson for the Jaguars apparently was on there.
What about ETN for Jags too?
Oh my God, you're really testing my ET.
I think it's 2 T's.
In the beginning?
2 T's. No, it's 1 T. No, it's 1 T and 2 N's.
There you go. Okay. Travis Etienne.
Is Maurice James Drew on there? Dude, James Dash Drew.
Oh, someone
you
named
got something.
Someone named James. Oh, Edgerrin James. James.
Hell yeah, we'll take that.
Drew.
No, okay.
Somehow now he's not on there. That's wild.
What about
we don't have any Rams guys. 2024 Rams?
Gurley? Give me Gurley.
Yeah.
Give me Kyron Williams.
Yep. A lot of Williams. Ricky Williams, Cadillac Williams, D'Angelo Williams.
Let's go. Give me Matt Forte.
Forte. Wow. Chicago Bears. What about Swift? DeAndre Swift for the Eagles. Who else have they had?
Gibbs.
2022.
Give me Gibbs. Give me Montgomery. GOM.
Yep, he's on there. He was there for the Bears too. We don't have any Packers. Is it Jones? Aaron Jones? Who else? Who was their running back last year? 2024. He was 2022 for the Packers.
Jacobs. He might be a Raiders too.
Yep. Yeah, he has. Yep. Raiders.
Oh, and Brandon Jacobs for the Giants. Let's go.
Okay. Falcons 2022. Who was before Bijan?
Probably not Algier.
Seahawks 2022, 2019.
Give me Sean Alexander. Is that, or maybe that's too old, but we'll try it.
No, it's on there.
That worked.
19.
Give me Kenneth Walker for the 22. No, that's.
Yep, he's on there.
Okay, good. Okay.
Damn, there's a 1994 Chargers?
Oh, that's way too old for me.
That's wild. 2017 Chargers, 2013.
DeMarco Murray, Murray.
Yep, he's
Hell
Titans.
yeah, a couple of them.
Raiders. Who the fuck played for the Broncos?
Broncos running backs haven't been that good over the past several years.
Texans running back last year, was it the guy that got hurt this year?
No, but let's do him. He was the Bengals running back, Joe Mixon.
Yeah, Mixon. That's who I'm thinking of. Oh, it was.
Oh, yeah, he was last year. Okay. Yep. Give me Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, that's a good one. Who's the Dolphins 2023,
Trying to think who was before Achan, who he took over for. Have you done Ricky Williams? Have we done that one yet?
He wasn't. He's too old.
Okay.
Williams didn't come up. Well, let me try his first name, but I don't think he's on there. I think he's too old. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm struggling
2015. Here. It's wild. And Ravens 2020. Oh, who's the guy that got arrested for the Ravens for like?
Oh, Ray Rice.
Yeah, he's got to be on here.
Too old.
What?
It's apparently too old.
Oh my God, there's no way. 14? He's older than that.
Dude, we are not doing good at this.
We got 58 so far.
Kamara. Kamara.
Yeah. K-A-M.
No way. Am I spelling right? Is it K-I? Try K-I-M.
No, it's not.
No way he's not been a 1,000-yard rusher.
I don't know. Saints. Do we have? Oh, Ricky Williams was on there for the Saints in 2001.
Okay, we'll take that.
That's wild. Yeah, Saints is. What about Mark Ingram?
He's got to be one.
He was. I think
just
he was
type the last name.
Yeah, Ingram.
Couple teams.
Oh, and he was the Ravens. Okay. Who's guys that were on like the Madden covers? I always like try to think through the hose. Like, are there?
Give me try Mostert. He was there before HN.
How do you spell
Stert?
T-E-R-T. Yeah, Raheem Mostert. Yep.
Okay.
Broncos we were missing. Cowboys last year were missing.
Who the freak was
Falcons
on the Cowboys
were
last
missing
year?
a lot of guys.
Try Michael Turner for the Falcons.
Nope. 2011. Yep. Panthers was it was it Chuba Hubbard? Yeah, Chuba Hubbard was last year.
Nice.
Buccaneers 20.
Give me Marshall Falk for the Rams.
Wow. Okay. Wow. 2001.
Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson.
Nailed it. Let's go.
A
Frank Gore for the Niners and maybe the Jets too.
Oh yeah, he's got to be on there.
Yep, 2 teams. Let's
Niners,
go.
Colts.
And the Colts.
Patriots, dude. Who are the Patriots running backs? They're always like the most random people you don't remember.
Yeah.
2022? Like, was it Ramondre Stevenson? Yeah, it was.
Wow.
That's wild.
Oh, let's see. No.
Man, I can imagine the Jets players, like one of them from back in the day. Was it Clinton Portis?
Yes.
Oh,
He was
Clinton Portis was
Commanders.
Commanders.
Yeah, he was good too.
Yep. And he wasn't for the Broncos somehow. That's wild. Who else?
We already got Zeke, right?
Yep.
Trying to think about who else would have been a Cowboy. I cannot think of the Cowboys running back from last year. I don't know what the hell.
Who's the white dude that played for the Browns? Peyton Hillis?
Peyton Hillis. Yep. Give me Rico Dowdle. He was a Cowboy.
Dowdle. Yep. Yeah, he was last year.
Hell yeah. Okay.
8 seconds. 6 seconds. Steelers. Jerome Bettis. Oh, I didn't get it. Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, we missed Le'Veon Bell, dude. Damn. All right. Okay.
Here's all the answers and what we missed. We got 58%, average score 57%.
Well, we are pretty average sports fans, huh?
Yep.
Dude, LaShawn McCoy, I'm so pissed I missed that. He would have definitely been on the Eagles, too.
All right. Which ones are like, duh?
Jamal Charles, that's a duh one for me.
Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell.
Jamal Lewis. Oh, we should have got that, dude.
Jay Ajayi. I couldn't think of that dude's name. Reggie Bush was for the Dolphins.
Carlos Hyde. We definitely should have got that one.
Dude, wait. Reggie Bush played for the Lions?
Yeah, for a couple seasons.
I didn't know that. Why don't I remember that?
It was later on after he left the Saints.
Bears,
Doug Martin. I can't believe I forgot that.
Dude, the Bears, it was Justin Fields. What?
No way.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Eddie
Dude, I
Lacy.
said Algier. You didn't type it in?
Where?
For the Falcons. I said the year before Bijan was Tyler Algier.
No, I must have not caught it. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Devonta Freeman, Jonathan Stewart.
James Conner for the Cardinals. We definitely should have got that.
Dude, Deuce McAllister.
I didn't even look at the Cardinals.
I would have never got Deuce McAllister. Doug Martin.
I should have got Doug Martin.
Isn't Doug Martin
Deuce is loose?
Is Doug Martin the guy that got like shot or something we were talking about not that long ago? I feel like he's the guy that got he wandered into someone's house and got shot. I don't know if I was talking to you about it. But...
No, I know who you're talking about. That might have been him.
Yeah. Antonio Gibson, Noshawn Moreno. Oh my dude, Philip Lindsay. What a wild card.
That was Doug. You're right.
Yeah, wild, man. I think he went to Boise
Philip
State.
Lindsay, that was the Chargers, right?
Broncos, that's right. Yeah.
Dude, CJ Anderson. Some of the Noshawn Moreno, dude, I forgot about him. Is he also on the Patriots? No, he's not.
No. Jamal Lewis for the Browns.
I know, I saw that.
Was he for the Ravens?
Mendenhall for the dude. How do we miss Le'Veon Bell?
Oh, and LaShawn McCoy.
McCoy pisses me off too. I loved McCoy. Yeah. I love that guy. He was such a cool player, and he was also on the Eagles. That would have got two of them for us.
Chris Ivory, that's the Jets guy. I couldn't. Curtis Martin is the guy who I could picture him, and I could not think of his name.
Is Ivory on the Saints too? No, he's not.
Nope. Saints is interesting. Deuce McAllister, Dalton Hillard.
I don't feel bad about some of these. Like I forgot Chris Carson was even a thing.
Yeah, I mean, some of them like Natrone Means. I don't know who that is. Justin Fargas.
Yeah, some of these are just kind of old too. Yeah.
Like I've never.
But some of these, I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Like Jordan Howard for the Bears. That's one I should have known. But it's also tough. And Ahmad Bradshaw should have definitely done that for the Giants. But like when you're on the clock, though, it's hard to focus in on like little things. You just start grabbing for straws instead of like really honing in.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Sporcle's fun, man. Glad we did that. That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's Sporcle. So let us know what your thoughts were. Did you get ones that we missed? Were there obvious ones that we should have gotten and didn't? But yeah, that one's always fun. Next, we have NFL interesting facts. Did you want to just run through this one quickly, or did you want to go into the halftime pour?
I think let's go to the halftime pour. We've had a lot of good content this week, but I don't want to make that too quick. I'd rather like give it the attention it deserves.
Okay, we'll revisit that next time. We still have, I think, maybe like 12 or so that we can go through or something like that.
I think like 14 teams left. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, halftime pour, this is where we get to just tell you a little bit about what we're drinking. Of course, our content has been more on the bourbon side, if I can get this to show, but dude, I almost brought a Blanton's bottle tonight. Are you kidding me? I don't know why this is so. Yep, that is the Blanton's. You got, is that the one from the trail?
Yes, sir. The Private Select.
How is it?
It's delicious. I will say, though, I enjoy it quite a lot, but I think the bottle I had at the trail was a little bit better.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
And obviously in a single barrel, right? It's single barrel, right? So like you don't get to pick the barrel, but it's still fire. So yeah. Tell me about yours though. Blanton's got a lot of history with it. Yeah, I mean, mine's returning. So I have talked about this one prior. So Blanton's single barrel Buffalo Trace out of Frankfurt. I think I gave it a
overall 83. It's about $70-ish, depending on where you live. 93 proof. Just a really great bourbon. I mean, obviously, if you can find it, if it's not overpriced, we usually get them at Buffalo Trace, or at least that's where I get mine whenever we get lucky and go there, like we did this year. They had bottles there. But yeah, I mean, just in general, a great smooth sipper. So tell us about yours. Yours is a little bit more unique.
Yeah, well, and I think you have actually. I had to refer to the Holy Grail, which is what we call our bourbon notes document here. But you've done this before, actually. Obviously, it would be a different bottle and a different barrel, but I have the Wild Turkey Private Select Single Barrel, and so this one we just got. And Deeb, thank you. This was a birthday present from you to me. Appreciate you for that.
Hell yeah.
But this one is it's typically 8 to 9 years. Mine is like right in the 8.5 year mark because it actually shows you it was distilled January 24th of 2017, sold October 14th of 2025. So it was like just over 8.5 years of aging in the barrel. And that is at Wild Turkey. That's it, obviously in Kentucky. This one retailed for about $80. It's a 101 proof. 101 is a big staple for a lot of their products at Wild Turkey, and delicious. I think it's, in the smell, I get a lot of like kind of baking flavors. So like brown sugar, almonds, some nuttiness. You think about like honey buns, like that nasty, lovely snack that's not really nutritious, but tastes really good. Smell that a lot. And when I taste it, it's more brown sugar, kind of like baking spices, and then a little bit of like vanilla and caramel. And I feel like when we had it at the distillery, I got a little bit more caramel, which I think really sweetened up the finish of it. And so my rating of this bottle, and I think I'm overly a little generous sometimes, but I'm going to give this one an 85 out of 100, trying to be less generous. 85 is a great ranking, obviously. The one I had at the distillery would have probably been like a 90, though, if I could recapture that flavor.
Yep.
I love it. If you see it, buy it. The Private Select Single Barrel is delicious. And obviously, every barrel is different. That's why it's called a single barrel. But mine is still really tasty.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, that one's very, very good. And I second you on that. And that's, I got a bottle of that as well when we were on the trail because I was like, this is pretty dang good. You'll miss out on it if you don't grab it while you're here. But question of the night, if you could combine two sports into a hybrid for one chaotic sport, which two would you murder?
Okay, football and basketball. It reminds me of like if you see like the trampoline basketball, it's kind of like that a little bit. But imagine it played on grass and just having like instead of a field goal post, you've got the basketball hoops on each side. But there would have to be some sort of like change to the size of the hoop. I think you can't really shoot a basketball into a hoop, while being tackled. Yeah. So you would have to like make the hoop like 3 times the size, I think, to make this game up like actually viable.
Yeah, and you probably couldn't bounce it on grass. So you'd have to just be passing or running or something.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to dribble. You don't have to dribble. You just got to shoot. Tackle and shoot. Pass, tackle, and shoot. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. And without the weird, like, specific rules. Like, just run wild. You don't got to start and stop like you do in football. Just run wild and tackle each other and pass it and put it in the hoop. And, yeah. Okay. I don't know. We'll workshop it. I
like that one. That would be very interesting. Mine would probably, trying to think of something that's unique, that's not like cookie cutter. I would say UFC with bowling.
You're going to have to explain that.
Now, yeah, I was going to say, hear me out because it sounds a little weird, but
it does, yeah.
Basically, you would still have the elements of bowling where there's a ball and there's pins and you're trying to knock down the pins with the ball. But you would have to fight an individual and try to get to the ball. Like you might be wrestling the person, you might be punching them. You're trying to basically, you're both of you are trying to get to the bowling ball so that you can successfully knock down pins. And there's frames, right? So like instead of like 3 rounds of 5 minutes, you would have like frames, like maybe you'd have 5 frames of like 1 minute or something where you'd have a minute to try to get to the ball as quickly as you can. You can fight each other and then you can try to knock down the pins with as much accuracy as you can.
This sounds like an elimination in the show The Challenge, if you've ever watched that.
I have
Which honestly, it would work really well. I think that would be very entertaining.
Yeah. And you can't use the bowling ball. You can't like hit people with it, just to clarify. So
yeah, we're not murdering each other. We're just beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah. So you're trying to fight to get to the ball so you can knock down the pins quicker than the other person, pretty much.
Okay.
That
I
would
like
be
it.
mine. But we now have one of my favorite parts, the single barrel picks. And as we mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing conference champions for college football picks this week. So we do this with the betting odds. So far, Scott, this year we've been keeping track. My record throughout the year that with the games we've picked is 15-17. We really struggled the last time. I think we both lost all 3 games where we picked the same. And then you are 12-20. So
I don't want to talk about it.
you've
Yeah, I
taken
don't
a
want to talk
little
about
bit
it.
of a little bit of a dip here at the end. So we got to revive ourselves.
I feel like I worked my way back to 500 just to take a complete cliff dive down to 12-20 out of nowhere.
Well, lucky for you, we have 5 games, a record 5 games for conference championships to pick this week. So let's get on with it. MAC championship, Scott. Miami of Ohio versus Western Michigan. Western Michigan's 5 favorites, and our good friend Tim would say, where's Toledo in this game?
I don't care about the MAC at all. Miami of Ohio is such a joke of a name. Give me Western Michigan. 2.5 points is easy. We're covering that.
Hey, being from West Michigan, I have to pick with that in mind, and that's the only reason why. So give me Western Michigan as well. Screw Ohio. Big 12, BYU versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech is minus 12.5. Wow.
I think Tech wins this game, but 12.5 is such a big spread. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to go with the BYU here.
I learned my lesson last time they played and there was a large spread. So give me Texas Tech because they slapped them last time by more than the spreads. We'll see what happens here. But ACC, Duke versus Virginia. What the hell? How are these two teams in the ACC championship? But Virginia is a 3.5 favorite. Who you got?
First of all, Miami is ranked like number 12 in the country, and they're not in the freaking conference championship game, which means they're not going to be a playoff team. This is bullshit. I just want to say that.
Screw mine.
However, cool. That's fine. We'll get some representation from these smaller conferences. I will never say Duke's name in any sport. Give me Virginia.
I don't know. I really don't know who to pick. I mean, if Duke wins this and they spoil people's, someone gets in, someone doesn't, that's going to be crazy to me. But give me Duke with the upset. Something tells me the Blue Devils have this one somehow.
If Duke wins, I don't think that the ACC makes the playoffs at all, which is kind of crazy.
That's what I'm betting on. We'll see what happens. Georgia, 2.5 favorites versus Alabama in your favorite SEC championship game. I think I know who you got, but tell me.
I've been saying all year, Georgia wins the national championship this year, and it starts with winning the SEC championship. Go Dogs.
This one's tough. Alabama came away with the win earlier in the year. I don't even know that they deserve to be in this game, to be honest, but that's controversial. Georgia's Georgia. They're going to do Georgia things, and they're going to roll over Bama in this game. And maybe Bama misses the playoff. So give me the Dogs. All right. All the marbles. Big Ten championship. Number 1 versus number 2. Indiana Hoosier. Wow. Number 2 team versus Ohio State, 4.5 favorites. Who do you got?
I am not going to have the same energy I had for Duke. Humble Pie tells me Ohio State's going to win this football game.
The smart decision after seeing things is Ohio State. Ohio State took care of business at Michigan. Ohio State may potentially have a Heisman winner on their somehow freshman quarterback that potentially will win. Ohio State is the better team. Indiana gets their revenge and says, F you, OSU. Give me Indiana with the upset, baby. Let's go.
All right, there you go. Heard it here. You know what? What a crazy story that would be if Indiana became the top team going into the playoffs because nobody saw that coming.
Yep. You want to do NFL?
Of course I want to do NFL. This is ironic. We talked about this earlier, but the Colts are visiting the Jags this week. Both teams are 8-4. Colts are 1.5 point favorites on the road. Who you got, Deeb?
I think the Jags are going to figure out the game plan, stop the run. Give me the Jags.
I just told you their vulnerability earlier, but I'm not sure the Jags can do that. So give me the Colts on the road. Next up, we got a big division game here. Some would say big, some would say I'm crazy. The Bears are going to Lambeau, playing the Packers. Bears are leading that division right now, and I believe even leading the conference, which is insane to say. Packers are 6.5 point favorites. The odds makers don't care about the Bears' success. Who you got, dude?
It is tough to win in Lambeau in the winter when it's cold and it's potentially snowing or snowy. I got to do your boy Zach a favor and pick the Bears, mainly because of the spread here. I do think it's going to be a close one, but the Bears with the spread is who I like.
It's a wide spread, and I'm with the odds makers because I also don't believe in the Bears' success. Give me the Packers. And our last one here, probably call this game of the week because it has major playoff implications. The Texans are going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites, despite being lower in the standings. Who you got?
Man, I want to believe in the Chiefs. I think I said that they were getting hot a few weeks ago, that they were making their playoff run. You know, I made all these claims. I might be eating my socks in a few weeks. Give me the Texans with the upset, and the Chiefs continue their downfall.
I'm going to say this. The Texans have a phenomenal defense this year. Their offense has been their weak spot, especially the C.J. Stroud offense. But he looked really good in his comeback game this past week, and the Chiefs cannot run the football. If you got a good team and you can only do one side, you can only pass or run, and you got a good defense you're up against, you're screwed, man. Give me the Texans. I think they come in and play, spoiler alert, on the Chiefs' playoff hopes.
And we'll see if we can bump our NFL records of mine is 6-9 and yours is 7-8. We're still hovering around that reasonable mark, but things could go south quickly. So we'll see what happens.
I think someone came in here and ruined our records. I don't think we did that. I think someone else just adjusted them. I don't think we're that bad.
I don't know. I mean, well, I pulled the stuff from prior. I don't know how it's that. Have we not picked that many games? I guess we only do 3, though, usually for NFL. I don't know. We'll have to see if maybe we missed a few in there, recount. But time for the 2-minute warning.
Let's get into it here. 2-minute warning, and I will go first. If you're ready, I can start rapid firing some questions.
Yep.
All right. Would you rather be fined $10,000 for excessive celebration or for eating a hot dog in the middle of the game?
I don't know why you'd get fined for eating. Well, I do know why you'd get fined for eating a hot dog, but definitely for the excessive celebration because I'd make sure it went viral.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Would you rather have your coach be Deion Sanders for motivation or Bill Parcells for trauma?
Give me Sanders for motivation, no doubt. You can question his success. You can question whatever you want, but as a motivator, give me Sanders. He's going to take care of me. Would you rather be forced to do a Gatorade bath with milk or mustard?
Well, both are kind of disgusting, but having someone dump mustard on me doesn't sound easy to clean. Milk might be a little sticky, but probably can get that off easier. So give me the milk. Would you rather forget your jersey at home or wear the wrong team's uniform by mistake?
Fun fact, I actually showed up to a Little League game wearing the wrong team's helmet once because I played for 2 teams one season. It was very embarrassing. However, I was able to play. If you don't have a jersey, you can't play. So I think I would rather wear the wrong team's uniform, even though that would really be embarrassing.
Wow.
Would you rather get booed by your own grandma or have her throw popcorn at you on live TV?
I don't know. This one's kind of random. Popcorn, I guess, because it'd be kind of funny. Maybe like a viral moment.
You want the viral moments, yeah.
Yeah. I'm playing for clicks. Would you rather miss every free throw for a season or airball your first ever NBA final shot?
Oh, this is just simple math. I'd rather miss the first final shot because if I missed every free throw for a season, I wouldn't have a spot on a team and I wouldn't be in the finals. That is the 2-minute warning, my friend. Oh my.
That's fair.
That was good. I would love to watch you get popcorn thrown at you now.
We can make it happen. I have popcorn. I can hire someone to come in during the recording.
Can we get if you're still listening, can we get a professional popcorn thrower?
Yes, apply here. We'll put a posting out. But with that being said, it's time for the last call. Just like at the bar, they kick you out and they tell you, hey, it's time to go. We got to shut the lights out. So what is your last call tonight, Scott?
We are in the holiday season, and I just urge everybody to enjoy sports with friends and family. It's so much fun to watch competitive gameplay or whatever you want to call it occurring, whether it's on your TVs or your computer monitors or live in person, but nothing beats sharing it with other people. So that's why we do the podcast. We love to engage with other people and talk about the sports, and it's a great way for Deeb and I to stay connected and talk about sports. So I just urge you, whatever you're up to this season, to find ways to include others. There are people out there who don't have others to include. Maybe if you include them, you might make a little bit of a difference in their lives. So that's it.
I like it. Very sentimental. I have to recognize a very special milestone, which I don't know if you realize this or you or I ever talked about this, but December 9th, upcoming next week, is actually the anniversary of the very first recording of the Single Barrel Sports Podcast. So not the first release of episodes, so that will be, later next week, but the very first recording was last year, December 9th of 2024. Unfortunately, I will not be here next week since I will be traveling. I'll be in Vegas, so maybe I can capture some content and send it to you to include. But what a feat that, we can look back on, and I'm sure we'll reflect on it in the next couple weeks leading up to the end of the year. I just want to say thanks for anyone who's still around or still listening, and anyone who's new. Welcome in, and cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Happy anniversary.
Hell yeah.